you think that we need to improve? And will Dhoni bat higher in the order?
Well, it's very nice to be back. Well, Dhoni batted pretty much 4 last year, but we do use him in a little bit of a flexible role, so that won't change. His form has been outstanding in the last 10 months, so we won't be getting tricky, because we've got a new player as well. So we've got a new signing who's come in, which is great. So we're really happy with the order and the thoughts around that. Our challenge is to win the cup again. It's very hard to win it. It's difficult. It takes a lot of things to work for you, and we've really just come back in and rebased ourselves on what we need to do to stay uncomfortable, and also what we need to do from a skill point of view to compete with 7 other very good sides. So it's very tough competition.
How to compare the balance of our side with other teams now? Where do you think?
We tend not to do it, because if you start looking at other teams, you detract away from what's good about your own, and really there's enough analysts that go through the opposition teams. There's enough great players with each side, so it actually comes down to mindset, team environment, culture, and then just winning big moments. And we openly have said we prefer experienced players because they identify big moments. And last year they won them, and that's our challenge again today. But look, we're happy, we're settled, we back our people. So there's not a lot of change within the side, and we just work hard on our relationships and our one-on-one coaching rather than trying to rebuy a team every year.
Kedar, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to.
Basically, every cricketer, who wish to play for India, it's a dream for him to feature in the World Cup team. So I am no different to that. But as of now, next 2 months, my focus will be, to this team, CSK, and my own team. I love the environment. I love the culture here. Last year also, even though I was there only for a week or 10 days, but still I enjoyed that, and I missed a lot. I watched all the games last year also when I was in Melbourne for surgery. But I was I missed so many beautiful people, and the whole journey I missed when we lifted the cup last year. So I am hopeful that we'll do it again this year, and I am looking forward to play all those 2 months with fit body and contribute to the best of my abilities.
Stephen, yeah. This will be the first IPL which will predate the World Cup. So in terms of, there's been lots of talk about how players are going to approach the World Cup, how they are going to, conserve themselves or keeping to stay fit for the World Cup. Is that something that you've spoken about, and will that matter in the way you train and how you use the players? You obviously have Kedar, Dhoni, and Raidu, who are close. Who will be most likely to be part of the World Cup. So that's 3 of the 15. So how will that affect your preparations and approach for this? And is that something that the boards have spoken to you about, not only the Indian players, even the other foreign players, about how you use your international players for the IPL?
Yeah, it is going to play a part, and the reason I say that is that England 18 months ago stipulated when their players would be leaving, and it was going to be early. Australia the same, and so it has had an impact, because when we sit and pick our team, we were very mindful of how many players would be leaving early and what the balance would be like. So it has had an influence. As far as individual players taking it easy, I have no concerns with that. Certainly from the group of players that we have, once you're involved in a competition and you commit to a team, there's a competitive aspect that makes them as good as they are, and that won't be compromised. So while they're with the team there, I don't see any complacency or any let-off with a view to the World Cup. But it probably around managing workloads with bowlers will be the only discussion, and I think in that situation we're okay. But yeah, it's going to have an influence, but I think it will be minimal for CSK.
Hi Fleming, a couple of questions coming back to IPL. One, what's the one thing you'd say makes CSK one of the best teams out of all the 8 teams in the IPL? And the second thing, if there was one word that you could describe, used to describe CSK, which one would it be and why?
Look, I think If you look at last year, we just won big moments, and we're very big on the team culture and empowering players to make a lot of decisions and win big moments. Well, last year was a snapshot of that. Even though the young man was only with us for one game, he played a huge part in winning that game with Bravo, and then Faf du Plessis, Watson, Bravo again, and the usual suspects of Dhoni and Reina. So it was very collective performance last year, and it's a little bit different to other years where you have 2 or 3 players that dominate. We had quite a collective approach and performance, and it's incredibly rewarding. I'm not saying that that's the only way to win, but it was certainly a real thrill for us last year doing it that way. We think we've got star power within the side. We think Indian players are some of the best in the world, and then back them up with some outstanding overseas players and contributors. So that's part of our secret, is picking people as well as players. And I'll keep coming back to just backing the players that we've got and trying to maximise, even if it's the 14th, 15th, 16th player, really value their input. And that's certainly been a key part of the franchise. And as we grow and the support grows, it feels like it's just all one big part of a CSK family, as it's talked about. But the players feel it, having 12,500 at training, having guys come wanting to be here, looking forward to the 2 months. That's all part of being a successful franchise. Doesn't guarantee success though. I think it comes from our captain, probably humble. There's no talk about defence or retaining the cup. We're humble enough to know how hard it is to win it, and that's sort of again a reflection of our captain downwards. So no arrogance, just a case of caring for others and playing well.
Coach, last year you had to move to Pune and you sort of had to adjust to quicker pitches, and Lungi stepped up admirably, and now you're back home. You have a lot of spinners, and of course Mitch Santner is coming back. He had a superb season in the Super Smash as well. So what do you see the role of spinners, particularly on a friendly pitch? And of course Santner, who's one of the few finger spinners who's been very successful.
Yeah, Mitch has got a great record in the subcontinent, which is good to have him. We obviously missed him last year, so again it's like a new signing. Just the quality and just the game plan. So we've got a strong top order. We've got good variations, but don't underplay the impact our pace bowlers had last year. They made the adjustment to Pune well, but Chennai still has a role for pace bowlers, so we're very conscious of having a good balance. But Imran Tahir is in good form, Karan Sharma, Harbhajan with his experience. We've got most of the bases covered. It's about getting guys in form and then just sitting on the game plan that we want, for especially at home, but then for when we play away as well. So we think we're pretty well covered.
My question is to Kedar. Kedar, you've had your share of injuries in the past, and you've had the workload. It's up to individual players. As a key member of the World Cup squad, how much of a concern is the workload, and how will you be looking to manage that?
My workload is all with my bowling. That's what I feel. So apparently, I don't think so. In next 2 months, my bowling will be used as much as the Indian team I am used to bowling. So that's one case. And besides that, we all are professional cricketers. Like we know how to manage our bodies, But with this 2 months of the best thing will be, how you recover after every game. And you cannot improve in just one practice session, so there will be times where you need to skip those practice session and focus on your recovery in terms of being fresh for the games, because like as long as you are fresh for the game, there is more chances of you performing well than practicing a day just before the game. So obviously it's up to the individuals, and we are smart enough, and we have been in touch with our franchisee trainers and physios, and besides that, the Indian trainers and physios also have given some notes where we have to follow those strictly in terms of going at these 2 months.
Hi, Stephen. What happened in your hometown, Christchurch, was really devastating. Where were you when you came to know about that news? And as someone who worked closely with the New Zealand tourism, how do you look at that incident?
Oh, well, it's very sad and ongoing. It's a lot of thoughts and prayers to everyone affected. I was on a flight to Singapore, so I got off the plane to to the news from my family who were around town at the time. So we weren't immediately affected, but we've all been affected, in particular being a Cantabrian myself. To have this happen in your hometown in New Zealand was just very hard to comprehend. So I spent the next 2 hours in the Singapore lounge watching CNN, just trying to comprehend the magnitude of the events, the sorrow and the thoughts of everybody that was immediately affected, and then of course one eye on the future as to what that holds. But I've been extremely proud of the way our Prime Minister and in particular the community has rallied around. There's been a lot of behaviours that have gone against what the person who initiated this wanted, and that makes you proud as a New Zealander, but very sad that it happens in your hometown. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Girish and I am from Business Standard. My question is to Mr. Kashi Vishwanathan and Mr. Dhoni. So basically, how many SKUs are there as of now in CSK's brand portfolio? That is one. Will it be a revenue sharing model between you and those companies that manufacture this, or what will be the model? And also, like you were mentioning about the next phase of the brand's journey, so would like to hear a few comments from you on what it looks like forward, and where do you want to see this next phase to?
See, as far as the marketing is concerned, I will ask Mr. Shankar Vunni to answer. As far as the fans are concerned, as all of you know, that CSK has always been taking care of the fans. We take at least about 100 fans for every away trip, for all our away games. So that will continue. Apart from that, we are also planning to give the local fans in Chennai an opportunity to see the matches. Probably we'll give around 50 to 100 tickets for them, which they can use in every game, which they can share, so that it will be possible for them to come for the matches. So this is the plan which we are having for the fans right now. And I think from what we did last year, see, we took care of the fans by taking them to Pune, because they lost out of the matches here. We had the Visual Polo Express, which was a great success. And I'm very sure that the CSK fans will not be disappointed with the kind of programs which we will be doing for the current year also. As far as marketing is concerned, I'll ask Mr. Shankar Vunni to clear your doubts.
Hi. So with regards to the brand journey, this is something which is going to be a continuous process. So it's a brand which is built over the last 10 years, and that is really seen in front of everybody. So this extension which you're taking, like what Kasisa was telling, was only on the fan engagement part. So coming to the SKUs, currently we have around 12 brands which is already signed up with us, and they have the people who have released the merchandise. SKUs is 100 plus, because we know that the request keeps coming from the fan in different ways. So we have one gifting category which is totally personalized, where the fan can really he can see through the CSK. So anything on CSK he can place himself, and that's what a few of the photo frames are going to be. So personalizing, so SKU it's unlimited. And the next steps, as we still keep it close to the heart, as it keeps going, we will be unraveling one. But we want to take it closer to a much larger purpose beyond cricket, because we have a superb team who keeps supporting us. So we want to engage and take it further. So we as a brand, we are much more prouder, pan India, and slowly we are making the merchandise available in the international markets also, making baby steps towards US and UK also. So that is the first, which you will see all these news coming up in our website on a regular basis. Thank you.
Last question. Hi.
What was that?
The yo-yo test.
No, it's never been part of our squad.
So what's your view on that? Do you think these kind of tests should be made mandatory, because the Indian team now follows the entire process?
My view is we're part of a season, so we have enough to work to get the guys up to speed in terms of how we want them to play. Certainly, only speaking from CSK, there's an expectation that fitness will be met. and we have some world-class physio and trainer with us that work closely with the players. We don't spend time policing that because we have other things that we prioritise, and so we try and empower the players to make sure they're in the best shape possible, both mentally and physically. And that's part of an advantage, is that we're only 2 months, whereas a national team has concerns for 12 months. So, yep, I expect the guys to do the work so that when they play for India, they're right at peak condition. And I don't want it to be labelled that they were underperforming with their fitness when they were at CSK. But our players are very professional with that.
Thank you very much.